speak to this gentleman more than I speak to my wife. Oh, we're going to start with Hayes. I don't speak to Hayes more than I speak to my wife. I have not actually physically spoken to Hayes Permar in I don't know how many months. We text, but we have not actually spoken. Hayes Permar, who occasionally in the past sat in this seat and now runs the Rialto down in downtown Raleigh on Glenwood Avenue. Hayes Permar is here, and the other gentleman who I speak to more than I speak to my wife, Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com, content maestro, wizard of the keyboards, at Walt Ruff on Twitter. I'm going to start with you, Hayes, and I don't know if you knew this. There is a prerequisite for coming on the roundtable. This might not have been presented to you, so it's not your fault. Are you familiar with the movie It Ends With Us?
I'm getting familiar with it very quickly.
No, don't worry about it.
A Google search.
The joke was just meant for Walt.
Okay.
When things are not going well, and Walt joins me in the first intermission during the Hurricanes games as part of the radio broadcast, I ask him about that movie. When we don't want to talk about what we just saw for 20 minutes, I bring up the movie. So that was a joke just meant for Walt.
Well, I needed you to say the Blake Lively and whatever director movie. Like, I didn't know about its title, but I knew about it by context. So right. I was there.
There you go. There won't be a sequel, will there?
No, I don't believe so.
There will not, and I loved the movie. I thought the movie was spectacular, but there will not be a sequel. All right, so let me go back to Walt, then we're going to hit Hayes here. I know you appreciated the joke. 1 win in 8, 1-6-1 over their last 8. But are you still feeling good about the way this team sets up for the opening series?
Well, thank you, Adam Gold. I did enjoy the joke. I certainly did. 1-6-1. Listen, if you ask Rod brind'amour, he is over the moon that this team had the opportunity to do that, to get a couple guys some rest. Wasn't really concerned about anything that happened after the team locked up their playoff spot. But do I think that there's still reason to feel good? I do, because of all of the lineup changes that we've seen over those 8 games. We saw a lot of guys get some rest, especially the last 2 nights. We've seen guys who probably will not be playing playoff games for the Carolina Hurricanes. So the fact that you have your guys at 100%, or at least as close as they possibly can be to 100%, I think provides you plenty of reason to feel good.
All right, Hayes, as somebody who is on the outside, and I know it doesn't show it on the screen, but he says, hey, Canes fan who's saving his money for the second round. Do you feel good about this team, given that, they had plenty of opportunities to win some games, grab a couple of more points, get to 100 points for the 5th consecutive year, because I'll throw in the crazy pandemic year with only 56 games where they were on course to obliterate the 100-point mark. Do you feel good about the way this team is?
I do. Let me first start by saying a couple things. Shout out to Walt Ruff. I listen to you talk to him more than you talk to your wife. I always enjoy that during games. And then, did I hear, is his name Ben the Stat Guy?
Ben the Stat Guy is coming on, yes. Not the Ben you know. Different Ben.
No, that's fine. The only number I need to hear from Ben the Stat Guy is how much money he's putting on the Devils versus you or me. I'll take it. Against the Canes in the first round. So that's the only number I want to hear, Ben, okay? Is like what number he wants to put on the series. And if we need to go games, we can. Look, I'm not worried, Adam. I heard a lot of people getting their panties in a wad because we're starting on Easter. But I'm like, I heard Victoria mention this, but I want to go further. Like, starting on Easter, is that a bad thing? Like, we're playing against the Devils. Like, why would I be worried against facing the Devils on Easter? And literally, we're led by Rod, meaning this week we got the son of Rod to appear during Holy Week, like on the ice, right? And I'm not going to go so far as to say that Skylar brind'amour got crucified out there, but let's just say there were some gruesome highlights, but it made for a great story overall. So I think I am not worried about starting on Easter. I think we're off to a good start.
Walt, if you have a response to that, you are free. But it's also okay to just, I guess, abstain. Can I use that? It's fair.
Yeah, I don't know how I could follow that up. That was money right there.
I don't either. Go ahead.
Are we still talking Canes? As long as we're still talking Canes,
What else are we going to talk about, Hayes? I actually have some other. I have some more.
Well,
go ahead.
It's tough having me on the round table because sometimes, like Adam Gold when he has a guest on, I forget that there's other people talking. So that's my bad. Like Victoria, just give me the shut up signal and I'll fall back. But yeah, all right, keep going.
You're good. It's the whole point is that we don't know where it's going to go, and I've already billed this as I am not sure what's going to happen during this segment. Since I don't get a chance to hang out in the parking lot, and I know Walt doesn't get a chance to do that, and Hayes, as somebody who grew up in Raleigh before the Hurricanes were even a gleam in our parents' eye.
Yep.
Explain to us the development of what we're going to see. I know it's Easter Sunday. I still think we'll see a massive tailgating culture here. Explain that and how this area has become Canes country.
Well, you make a great point, and I'm not going to say I'm still kind of on the fence about the MLB to Raleigh thing.
Me
but
too.
There is something cool about being a one professional sport town, right? Obviously, we're not on par with Green Bay and the Packers. It's not that type of thing. But I think we passed a big point when we hit what I call the generation point, meaning there are now people who could buy season tickets, 30-year-olds who could have a professional job and enjoy season tickets, who do not remember a life without the Carolina Hurricanes in North Carolina. That is huge, right? And I think it's just become I got in hot water with some Carolina fans when I said, at this rate, and I'm baking in with this rate, that Rod Brind'amour brings home at least one Stanley Cup as a coach, if not more. But by being a player and a coach, and then when you see the development of youth hockey, truly a non-existent thing in the world when I grew up here. Nobody played hockey. You did not do it. Like soccer was oddly, weirdly popular, even as soccer wasn't, a super popular professional sport. Nobody played hockey. And in 25 years, we will have an even bigger, we already have a great youth hockey program, but I just imagine there'll be kids who grow up and just think this is life in Raleigh. And I think that is part of what you can't quite put a price tag on when you're looking at just season tickets, and we can make jokes about playoff tickets, but like there's something about, and it also takes winning, right? Like the big thing that Rod has done, the current regime, which I put Rod as the top, even though Dundon's the money guy, of like getting it done, being consistent winners. It's huge. So yes, I mean, that's the reason for the tailgates. That's the reason for everything. That's the reason there is going to be develop around there. That's the reason I'm not trying to make it about me. My childhood friend, Brian Fork, a huge sports fan,
right?
A huge sports fan growing up who, like you said, would never have dreamed of being a professional Raleigh sports fan. He's one of the best people I know, and he's a huge NC State fan. And as soon as the Canes were here, he jumped on. And those are the type of people that are now integrated in the program. It's unbelievable to see what it's meant.
Did you say in spite of being a State fan? I just want to make sure I heard that. Did you say in spite?
No, I didn't.
You didn't say that? Okay, good.
I do like people hearing that every time that State fans worry that like somebody without a State fan's best interest is in the room. Like my man Brian, even before he won't want to hear this, before he's a Canes fan, he's a State fan. And I'm not saying that influences decisions, but just know there's a voice in the room that respects all State fans on decisions like that.
Hayes Permar, and we've got Walt Ruff here, Hurricanes.com content maestro. Walt, you know the league. 7th straight year in the playoffs. There are now just 4 other franchises that can say they have been in the playoffs for at least 7 straight years. Colorado, Toronto, Tampa, and I think Edmonton is the other team. That's it. Boston fell off when they missed the playoffs, and I think they finished last in the East. Boston fell off. The Rangers weren't even one of those teams before this year. They missed the playoffs. You know the league. What do you make of that?
Well, I can tell you that's a pretty good company to be a part of, is it not, right? Mm-hmm. Colorado, Stanley Cup champs a couple years ago. Tampa Bay, Stanley Cup champs multiple times within the past recent years. Much like what you two were just speaking on, you have to win in order for people to care, and people really care here because the team has won. As Rod Brind'amour likes to address it, it's the carrot left in front of this current group that they need to achieve, that being winning the Stanley Cup, and they've given themselves a chance now for a 7th consecutive year. This is not a flash in the pan. This is not a get in, give it one run, and get out type situation. It's another legitimate opportunity to try and lift the 35-pound silver trophy.
It would be. Go ahead, Hayes.
I was going to say, I've had the opportunity to go to Detroit a few times this year, and I've gone to some sporting events. It's insane going to Red Wings games on the cheap. Like it's like going to 2015 K, $25. I'm sitting lower level. I'm getting great, and and that also helps give you perspective for like, okay, the Canes are really doing this thing. Like, it's not just a city thing. Like, obviously winning matters, but when they're winning, their ticket is as good as any other. So it's crazy. I do have to interject something else here.
Sure.
People are worried about it starting on Easter, and I get that. But also, and we're gonna get to you specifically, Adam Gold, but Easter already has its whole week, right? Like, it's got a Holy Week. So like, come on, after lunch on Sunday, Easter is done, right? And we should be talking about the more important holiday. Some people refer to it as the Gostisbehere Aho holiday, but yes, the series is starting on 4/20. We're not going to go into deep cultural traditions and explain what all the holidays means, but like we're putting on the ice a Stanky, a Burns, Burns.
Yeah.
I've had to reach a little bit for Jesper Tokeniemi, Jackson Blaze, Shane Grass to spare. Is that where we're going? Rod Grind'amour, and like Seth Jarvis. I don't even have a pun for that, but he basically looks like every stoner from a '90s teen movie. I almost wish they break out the alternate green jerseys. And then Orlov looks like he's been playing high for like 3 months. So like, hopefully that all clicks in.
Well, he was good in Montreal. He was great last night. But
I was
you're
worried
right
about getting all my material in. Don't worry. So I had to work in some of my material there. Sorry if
totally
it was a
little
ham-fisted there.
Totally understand. That is dynamite. A hockey question for Walt. Walt's like, can we please just get anything about the team?
I am worried. Am I getting Walt in trouble? That's the only thing I'm worried about. I'm not worried about getting Adam in trouble. I do worry about getting Walt in trouble.
Walt will be fine. He can always accidentally hang up. Do we know? We're assuming it'll be Frederik Andersen in Game 1. But what do you think of my theory that start Kochetkov in Game 1? You never know. You might get good Piotr. If you get good Piotr, now you're really, to borrow from Trip Tracy, cooking with oil, gas, and gravy. And then, because 2 years ago, when Freddie played his best playoff hockey, he did not start Game 1 of the first series. Antti Raanta started Game 1. Actually, Raanta started the first 4 games, I think, of that series before we saw Frederik Andersen draw in. And then Andersen was great the rest of the playoffs. They didn't beat Florida at all, but Andersen wasn't the reason. So what do you think of the my harebrained idea to start Kochetkov tomorrow?
Well,
Not tomorrow, Sunday.
I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think there's certainly an argument to be made. I'm very glad to hear that you referenced that 2023 series because it feels like something that is being forgotten by some fans already that, as you said, Frederik Andersen was not the guy going into the playoffs, but when he got in, he became the guy.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, we saw the other side of the coin last year where we saw the rotation after he came back during the regular season, and then they elected to ride him during the postseason. And in 10 postseason starts, he finished with, I believe it was an .895 save percentage and a Game 6 against the New York Rangers that he wants back to this day. So I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think we were hoping to see one of them kind of cement themselves into that Game 1 spot over the last month. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen, so it is still a decision to be made, but there's arguments for both sides for certain.
Boy, I thought Freddie did cement himself until the game in Boston. I really did. I thought it was like, oh, we know where we're going here because Freddie was so good and so steady. I still think, and I hate to be very hockey-ish here, I think Freddie's floor is higher than Kochetkov's floor. Maybe the ceiling isn't quite as high. Speaking of 420, but I think Freddie can be outstanding, and he really was for an 8-game stretch where his save percentage was .940. Hayes, where do you rank Devils fans among fans you don't like at Lenovo Center?
I don't. The good thing about this one, Gold, is I don't think anybody like. What's the caricature of a Devils fan, right? Like I don't know, like somebody who got left out of being a Rangers fan or whatever. So the good thing is because maybe they show up like the Rangers or the Bruins or the Sabres do or whatever with the away tickets. I haven't heard the clamoring for putting geo restrictions on the ticket buying to prevent the Devils fans from getting in there. Woo. But so I will say, because of the lack of like a stereotypical fan enemy, that just means we're going to put that much more on the head of Eric Halla. The fact that the Devils didn't cut that guy like with a week left in the season of just like, hey man, we're like, let's face the truth. We're facing the Canes. We've got Eric Halla on our team. You got to be gone. Like, can you put him on waivers and try and pick him up later if you win? But you ain't beating us with Eric Halla. So any hate for Devils fans is kind of like, man, all the hate is concentrated on one person, which I kind of like in hockey. It's a fun thing.
So, Walt, you'll know this. Eric Halla's number one target for his on-ice venom now plays for the Colorado Avalanche. Martin Necas isn't here anymore.
That's who Halla hated?
Oh, yeah. It's not that he hated him. He just thought that Marty could be gotten. And so he made a point to go after him. I don't think he hates Necas. I don't understand how anybody could hate Martin Necas. He'll get a standing ovation here if the Stanley Cup Finals is Carolina and Colorado. Necas will get it, and Drury. They'll both get standing ovations here. Do you have a characterization of Devils fans? Well, as we're going to have to close up shop here. Do you have any jokes prepared?
I'm just glad it's not the New York Rangers, Adam, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes, but all those fans will be here wearing Hurricanes jerseys anyway, and that's what we love about those Rangers. I love it when opposing fans are in the building. I love it.
If I may, one thing, Gold. A lot of people are talking about Easter. A lot of people are talking about the other holiday that happens on April 20th. But to me, I'm obviously thinking about you. And your heritage in a great Passover week.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Seder has already passed, but I
missed it. I hate that I missed it.
But going into the playoffs, I'm not gonna kvetch over Svetch, but we can't get bupkis from him. I'm not worried about fans who have to go out there Sunday at 3:00 or Tuesday at 6:00. It's not like we're asking them to schlep out in the snow in Boston or New York or a place where it's snow. Oh wait, Boston and New York aren't even in the playoffs. But I just hope that the Canes don't come out flatter than your mother's matzah. And Adam, just remember you're a minch, and Hag Samayach to you.
Thank you very much. It's also notable that it's not a Friday night or Saturday afternoon.
That's right.
Playoff game.
We're good.
Because remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Hayes Permar at DHPIV. He owns the Rialto. Go check it out on Glenwood Avenue in downtown Raleigh. Walt Ruff. I'll see you tomorrow at practice, and I'll see you Sunday for Game 1. Hurricanes.com content maestro, wizard of the keyboards. I knew we could go anywhere. I appreciate you, Hayes, and you, Walt, and thank you so much.